Ah! 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 Hito da kara! Watch this shit, chat. It's fucking black magic right here. Woo! Yeah. Vacation. Good. Let's go. Oh, I'm doing it, boys! I'm using the rules of thirds! Oh! I guess I don't even need the lines. I'll just use the dots. Do you think rule of thirds is actually... Do you think it actually means anything? I feel like it slightly improves my composition, but not much. Alright, enough Kishimen. Where is my Kishimen stream? Enough Adam Sandler. That's a 5-minute long song. This music makes me feel uwu desu. I was feeling like playing classic eroge Nico Nico music right there because people are asking me to draw Dispatch content. I just wanted to point out that Dispatch is literally a fucking dating sim. It's like, as usual, Western consumers are catching up to Japanese technology like 20 years after it peaked. And they're like, oh, whoa! I'm a fucking tremendous fucking normie. I like video games that give me an illusion of choice in which I get to choose which of these girls I want to have a relationship with. If only there was some way for me to play video games like that in the past. Oh. The writing style is the worst part. I saw like I saw one cutscene and they said like fucking shit 5 times in one sentence. And I was just like, okay, this is like extremely Marvel pilled, except they got an R rating.
Are we outside?
Windy up here tonight, huh?
Why are we outside?
No telling where you'll
It
live.
smells like outside smells. Wait,
Hey, I have neighbors. Use your inside voice and just tell me where Shroud is.
Okay. Steel mill, Llewellyn.
It's actually like part 2 of the whole thing where all the normies in after like Marvel started to make their movies like at least digestible for normal people. They took superhero content and they took the best parts of the superhero novels and then made them digestible. As a result, there's like now that's suddenly $1 billion franchise because now normies realize they like superhero content. This is like taking that and then maintaining the Marvel like normies like superhero content part of it. And then adding the extra dating sim element of that like the Japanese video game industry has already been doing for the last 20 years and has actually gone out of favor because, you know, it's already past its prime. Now that Marvel is shit, people are clinging into everything else that's superhero. I was told there was superhero fatigue. Do you think there's superhero fatigue or there's superhero fatigue among, I don't know, the people that are taking their children to the movies? Not every version of superhero fatigue is probably the same. I think people got tired of being told that they had to see like 5 movies to be prepared so they can understand the latest plot point of the latest Marvel slop. I think people just got tired of that part. Superhero fatigue is a lie because Rivals popped off so hard. I mean, superheroes, just like fantasy, can contain a lot of different things, right? That's actually part of the reason why Marvel was able to keep their profits so high for so long, because superhero can contain a lot of different elements of extra things like, you know, horror. It can have like chuny flavors. I don't know about dating sims, but eroge got its head blown off once companies realized they could just make titty gotchas instead of full games. Yes. It's not just eroge, it's all video games. Even the AAA industry is like, how can we just do the thing that, you know, MiHoYo is doing? How can we just tingle people's gambling urge and make money that way? It's so much easier and more profitable. Rest in peace, Lilith is right. Also, Lilith apparently was having like getting in fights with some of their biggest illustrators and they're no longer on the payroll or something. I don't know. I never participated in the time mining gacha in the first place, but it didn't they don't seem to be doing great now. I guess they already made all their money, but superheroes have inherent themes like inequality, morality, and how the nature of humanity can be altered until it breaks down. You can actually do almost any kind of story in the superhero context. Just like how you can do almost any kind of story in like fantasy context, etc., etc. It's part of the reasons why I always complain about not being interested in zombie stories, because zombie stories, you can't actually do any kind of story in zombie stories unless you're gonna well, even if you do make it like lighthearted and comedy wise, it still ends up with relatively similar story beats. So I'm just tired of whatever version of zombies. Thanks for the sub, Palska. I appreciate the support. 43 months is a very long time. Like, zombie stories, it's legitimately always like the same, like, 5 or 4 story beats, right? It's like, group of survivors locked up in like a, I don't know, a shopping mall or whatever. Part of society that still maintains civilization, but it turns out that people were the real monsters all along. So on, so on. Innocent child that needs to be saved. The whole fatigue thing is due to how Hollywood has milked and mishandled both Marvel and DC. The fact that Marvel was able to get as long a run of successful movies that they were able to get, that alone is actually pretty crazy if you think about it. Think how many franchises, IPs, where the first movie is good, but then the second movie is shit, or the second movie is also good, but the third movie is shit. To have a string of movies that Marvel had, where most of them were like at least B to B plus range, and then also they were somehow connected story-wise as well. It's never been done before, and it probably won't be done again. It's really impressive, actually. Chainsaw Lollipop? Lollipop Chainsaw isn't really a story, it's an action video game. I'm not really calling it a story. That's slightly different. Like, we don't really care about the story in Lollipop Chainsaw shit. We're not playing it for the story, we're playing it for fun gameplay. Video games is a different issue. There's basically only 2 types of zombie stories: serious zombie stories and silly zombie stories, but they both have relatively similar themes. It's kind of crazy that until recently, well, not recently, but I feel like all the way up to maybe the 80s, we hadn't really found all the genres that people are going to exploit. But I feel like in 2025, it's really hard to find any real new genres, if we're talking like broad strokes. I'm talking about like settings and worldviews and stuff like that. I'm thinking about this right now because I'm planning my next manga that I'm going to be starting to send to publishers and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, from what direction am I going to go at this? Because like the current Japanese manga landscape is absolutely flooded with isekai shit. And I don't really think isekai is Western fantasy, as we would call it, but it's close enough that you're still in the same corner of the bookstore, so it's such an incredibly saturated genre, I don't really want to touch it anymore. But pretty much everything, if you want to try and be like 100% original, you're probably not going to find anything that's appealing to people, because everything that's already appealing to people has probably been touched in several ways already. You need to bring in your multicultural experience of being American. I was actually thinking about that because my comic about stereotypical Japanese, stereotypical Americans in Japan got so much traction, I was like, I should probably do something related to like Japanese impressions of America. So I was thinking about doing a relatively short superhero comic about Japanese superhero in American City, and they're like, we need you to dress like a ninja because we need to market you harder. From today onward, you'll be super ninja or whatever, shit like that. Even if you have an interesting concept and actual skills, people are completely desensitized to show any interest. It doesn't help that most people in Isekai at this point don't have actual skills or an interesting concept, so that makes it slightly more difficult. Is Super Ninja actually a endearing, socially awkward, nerdy girl that can't find balance with her daily life and her assassin bodyguard job? No, but that might be more popular. I was thinking of making it a too serious but also slightly becoming more disgruntled Japanese businessman type. I think the real first isekai I saw was Dot Hack in the early 2000s. I guess the MMORPG that you're trapped in is also an isekai genre at this point. I mean, we've had isekai for the longest amount of time. It's one of the easiest story concepts because it takes so if you want to write about a fictional world that's completely different, you basically want to go on tourism, right? If you want to do that, you need to have a stand-in for the main character, or at least for the readers. You need a reader stand-in. So the easiest way to do that and not have to be like explaining shit in a way that doesn't make sense is just to have a character from our world enter the, you know, the alternate world. So isekai has always been a genre, like Narnia, John Carter on Mars, etc., etc. You can speedrun exposition with isekai. You can do isekai, it's more like you can do exposition without making it seem unnatural, right? You can maintain the first person reader perspective where your character, the reader is in the character's head, and then also have the character not have to like explain shit in an unnatural way if it's an isekai, because the main character is on the same like information basis as the reader. This is the primary function of an isekai, is to have the main character be just as a fish out of water as the readers, because you need to have a reader stand-in for some place. You can't just keep on going forward without explaining anything, right? So Fukumoto Nobuyuki is popular for a reason. All his stories are about middle-aged men. I said that there aren't any new genres at this point, but Fukumoto definitely created a new genre, which was non-existent gambling, new types of gambling. But only Fukumoto can think about that, right? Like, even if I was like, oh, I have a great idea, I'm an idea guy. Here's my idea for my manga. Like, this down on this luck guy, he needs money, so he goes on this ship, and they do like this crazy like gambling schemes, and there's all sorts of like zawa zawa. That shit happens, you know. So then the editor's like, okay, what kind of gambling they do? I'd be like, I don't know. I'm thinking about it right now. Maybe something with like rock paper scissors cards. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like most people can't fucking think of a realistic game in which you can do that kind of stuff. The fact that Fukumoto can figure that shit out is like greatest talent, but it's like it's very very rare. It's not something you can usually do. In comparison, Hunter x Hunter during the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter, they have that whole like not chess board game, and somebody, a toy company decided to sell it, like create a version of the not chess board game and sell it, and like they added rules and stuff to it and all, and within like a few hours of it going on sale, basically a professional like chess or shogi players dissected the game, and they're like, there's only like one optimal strategy, and you can do it within like 5 moves or something like that. Basically, they solved the game immediately, and they showed how hard it was to design a proper game. Which it's something that hasn't happened in Fukumoto manga, right? You can't beat the simplicity of asking a bunch of Japanese losers to walk across steel beams and then fall to their death for the entertainment of rich people watching. Honestly, I don't think Fukumoto should be giving rich people any ideas, because the way wealth inequality is working in America right now, I'm pretty sure some of the tech bros are gonna start asking people to, cross steel beams and fall to their death anytime. It's just gonna be like the Mark Zuckerberg steel beam contest any day now. Is there a manga about chess? I don't think so. There might be, but it's mostly about shogi and go. Chess isn't that popular in Japan. Chess also an inferior, simplistic game compared to shogi and go. Anyways, the board game manga, they're not really about the actual board game. They're about human relationships in the board game. If you try and do like a board game manga and people actually have to be like shogi grandmasters to understand what's going on, then your manga isn't going to do very well. There's a manga for everything. I'm sure there is a chess manga. There really is a manga for everything. It's just not, there just aren't any popular chess mangas right now, but I'm sure there is a chess manga out there. I mean, there's fucking multiple pachinko mangas of all things. Didn't Shikamaru from Naruto play shogi most of the time in the series? Seems like a complex game. For those of you who don't understand shogi, think chess, except once you take an opponent's piece, you can capture it, literally capture it, and then you get that piece now, and then you can reinsert it back onto the board. Obviously, this makes the game like 10 million times more complex than chess. I think Go is still more complex than shogi, but in terms of like difficulty of calculating it using computers, like traditional computing, I think in order of difficulty it goes chess, or chess is the easiest, and then it goes shogi, Go, and then I've heard that Mahjong is actually the most complicated because it's 4 players. Are you going to get hooked on pachinko when you get to Japan? I have Asperger's. I absolutely hate that kind of environment where it's just super loud jing 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 noises. Not only do I find it unpleasant, I don't have the addictive gene, but just like being in pachinko parlors, that alone is extremely unpleasant to me. So no, I will not be getting addicted to pachinko. I can guarantee that. I hate loud places. I would lose my shit. Are you saying that you don't just want to go to this Kino pachinko place in the middle of nowhere? Ah, the beautiful Japanese countryside. Japanese female woman. Get off a train, take a taxi for 10 minutes. The isolated pachinko parlor in the middle of nowhere. It looks haunted as fuck. Nobody is there. Pachinko industry doing great, guys. Why is every shot of this place so fantasy-like? Because it's in the middle of nowhere and there's nobody there, that's why. It's like some literal Alice in Wonderland shit. They must be losing so much money just running all these machines with all the electricity. What do you want to play, boys? Holy shit, there's a full-size Ayanami right there. No wonder these machines are so expensive. You're literally buying like a full-size Ayanami figure along with your gambling utensil. That's crazy. Long-haired Ayanami too. Customer voices. There are none. That's fucking hilarious. In general, if you want to make money, it's said that it's probably better to play slots instead of pachinko. The thought of the fact that it's just replaced by gacha makes me depressed again. At least with pachinko, you might be able to win some money once in a while. This doesn't have like the insane, like super crowded shit. But I'm like, I fucking hate going into pachinko parlors. This is the shit I'm talking about. This is pachinko back in the day. This is the new... When they open a new store in the 90s, it's like 94. Let's see if they show the... This isn't the one, actually. There's like this infamous one about the pachinko parlor opening in the 90s, and then people are waiting outside and they're trying to get in. And they're like fighting with each other to get inside. This is the same video. Ching 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 ching. Like, why would anybody want to sit next to all these other people and listen to industrial noise? Anyways, I'm glad that pachinko is dying. We should all be glad it's dying out. It's a net plus for Japanese society, and all the old people of that era are also dying out as well. Dopamine addiction. Yeah, we get our dopamine addiction other ways now, using our unlimited amounts of AI porn and gacha, which is basically the same as AI porn. How's Yakuza making money then? Video games? Yakuza aren't really making money at this point. Yakuza are having difficulty. It's like why people suck dick for crack. It's not that they want to suck dick, they just need the crack. Speak for yourself. It took us 36 minutes for me to get to my first "I like sucking dick" comment. In Osaka, prostitution in most places. Although women found an even worse way to spend their money than wasting it on pachinko, and that's host clubs. That's where all the prostitution comes in. You go to the host club, you get addicted to having a guy tell you how special you are. Then he's like, "You're so special to me. I need you to go work at a soap land." And then the women are like, "Sounds good. He needs me. I'm gonna go wash ugly bastards' bodies and jack them off for money." Chicken-haired Gyaruo and K-pop idol imitations. I don't understand why it's so easy to convince these women that they are being needed by their local host guy. Actually, they have a whole infrastructure that's set up. They have the hosts competing against each other, and like if they don't make enough money, they actually are in big trouble. So the hosts have to like give so much money to like the store itself and so on. So when the host is like, "Babe, I really need you to drop $30,000 in the host club tonight or else I'm gonna lose my job," like they're not actually lying, it's actually true. They really do need the woman to drop $30,000. It's all part of the system. So then the woman's like, "Oh, okay, okay." Female loneliness epidemic, yes. The male loneliness epidemic can be easily cured through ejaculation, unless they're like super lonely and they really, really need like to talk to somebody. But in general, men can get over their loneliness and their need for human attachment just by coming. But women, not as easy, which is where the Gyaruos come in. You kind of rent it like an independent contractor, like a stripper does. When I was trying to get jobs where I would teach English in Japan, that was basically the setup for some of these English teaching places, where basically you're responsible for all finding your own customers and getting paid and everything, and it was like the store was only just like lending you the fucking space, and I was like, that's a horrible deal. And yet I still didn't get the job after doing the interview. So I guess the people were able to identify that I would be a horrible English teacher. I don't know. But it was basically a setup in which the store, there was no chance in which they would lose money, because basically it was up to me to like do everything, and they still dropped me. So I don't know what that says. I can see myself being a horrible English teacher though. I've never had to learn any languages. And half of being a English teacher in Japan is just being like amicable and not being an asshole, so those are things that I have difficulty with, of course. Or English teachers in Japan, Coomers? No, I think they're cringe gaijin who don't have any real skills. English teaching is not super fun and very low paying. Friend is doing it right now in Nagoya. English teachers are a dime a dozen in Japan. Every gaijin wants to be in Japan and none of them have skills. So they're all competing over the limited amount of the Japanese market. This patch is an interesting one. It's literally just dating sims for normies who don't want to admit that they want to play a dating sim. Just like most Western RPGs are also dating sims for normies, but they're not for normies, I guess, because CRPGs, normies didn't play them. But literally all of the discussion is just like, which girl do you want to fuck? People are very, they're simple creatures. We want one thing and it's disgusting. Big red muscular dommy mommy girlfriends. Average Dispatch fan. I jerk off to 2D characters, but for different, more nuanced reasons than yours, Chud. It's just like... It's the same fucking thing, guys. I feel like Dispatch is a bit forced popularity-wise. I don't know how to describe it. Unfortunately, I absolutely despise Critical Role and I absolutely despise Western voice acting, but it is extremely popular among a certain group of people and there's nothing I can do to stop it from being popular, so... But a lot of things are popular in this world that I wish were not popular, such as, I don't know, practices in Africa where they murder albinos for like magical reasons and stuff like that. I wish that didn't happen as well, just as I wish that Critical Role and Western voice actors weren't popular, but there's nothing I can do. Critical Role seems very Reddit. You could say it's one of the most Reddit things on the planet. Albino murder isn't popular, LMAO. Well, I guess that's your loss when you want to do African magic and you don't have access to your local albino. Don't they bash Baldi's skulls in because they think they hide gold in their heads? I'm pretty sure they're just doing that to take the person's money. I think that's more likely. Where is that still happening? All sorts of murder is happening constantly in Africa. It just might not be as exotic and like cool African tribesman shit as we want. People are still just murdering each other because they're like a slightly different tribe. Or they're in the wrong militia or whatever. But I like how in my youth in the 90s people were still like, think of the African children, and like in 2025 nobody even like can be bothered to think about that shit. Like in the 90s with all stuff like Live Aid and shit, it shows you how much like leeway Western countries had when I was growing up, because they really did have a lot of resources and time to worry about African people and stuff like that. And nobody has time for that shit now. People are like, genocide is happening in this part of Africa again. You're like, oh, that's cool. I remember when it happened like 15 years ago. I thought we solved that problem. Now the Africans say, think of the American children. I mean, they should. There's a going on famine going right now. Yes, we should ship all the McDonald's we're not eating to Africa. Half of the reason why famines occur in Africa is always because like the Monsanto genetically engineered corn was forced on local African farmers, and they had to they were forced to throw away all their original corn species, and then they would have to buy the same Monsanto Roundup pesticides, making them reliant on whatever corporate setup, and then when that goes bad, then everybody has to starve, some shit like that. That's always what happens. I remember those ads with African kids with flies on their faces making sad faces. You can still see those ads if you tune in to the TV at the right time in the middle of the night. Nestle giving pregnant women baby formula so they don't produce milk, so they need more baby formula. Yes. If the United States makes something illegal as a corporation, your job is just to take the same strategy and take it overseas where it isn't illegal. It's basically the corporate strategy from for pretty much every industry in America. Did you hear how in order to make AI, not constantly shit out images of gore and murder and child porn, they basically had to set up these farms in third world countries where these Africans' job was just to sift through 10 million images of child porn every single day and then tell the AI to not show it. And it was, of course, making all of these African guys absolutely suicidal, and it was making them go crazy and stuff. Real? Yes, that was a thing that was happening. Sam Altman doesn't want you to read about that. They were getting paid 5 cents a day or some shit like that. If you're a mentally deranged pedophile, possibly a great job to have if you can get it. But I think most of these people were normal human beings, so it was having severe PTSD and psychological effects on them. Basically, everything about AI is awful. The way it's made is awful. The type of resources it needs to maintain itself is awful. The effect it has on society is awful. The more you learn about it, the people who support it are awful. The more you learn about it, the more it's like, why would anyone support this shit? Besides, if you're like just a tech executive and you want more money. I've said this before and I'll say it again, but when we were getting new technology in the 90s, nobody was like, huh, not only is this Sony Walkman made by chopping up third world country babies and putting their body parts into its electronics, it also causes the people to listen to it to have psychological delusions and, commit mass murder. And every time I play a song on my Sony Walkman, we have to drain an entire lake of fresh water and cause people's electricity bills to go up by 5,000%. Also, the music I can hear in my Sony Walkman sounds like 100 times worse than the music I can listen to at home. Like, it wasn't like that when I was growing up. It was like, hey, this new technology is fun and cool. I'm having fun. Life is better now that I have a PlayStation or something. Same way Neil Druckmann got his employees to watch 5 billion hours of live leak for The Last of Us 2. What? Are you saying that it wasn't worth it? Last of Us 2 most brutal kills. Let's get to the close-up part. The way that the blood becomes a mist. They're saying best kills. Where's the fucking close range stuff? Isn't there like the animation? I mean, when I put in most, it immediately says brutal kills. Here's a good one. It makes this really big squishy noise. Gurgle goes down in slow motion as they slowly bleed out from their throat. Loses their fucking head. Excuse me, sir. Oh, loses their arm. See, this is making me want to actually play the game now. Loses their leg and then has to crawl around without a leg. You good? Good old American games. At least we have our priorities set up straight. Let's see, how long is the blonde Blazer's hair? I can't tell because she has a cape. VFX at Naughty Dog was top tier. Honestly, I just want more Uncharted, okay? I don't want zombies. And I definitely don't want Neil Druckmann telling me how profound a message it is to just be like, you shouldn't do violence or do revenge or whatever the fuck the moral of Last of Us 2 is. On the other hand, I do like sci-fi. So, what is it? Interstellar? No, that's the movie. Intergalactic, whatever. I might enjoy it, but I probably won't. It'd be interesting if they just, like, scrap all whatever DEI shit they had planned for Intergalactic. And it's just a fun space game, but I don't know. Uncharted will have the same shit too if he's in charge. True. No more Amy Hennig. You know, like actually talented women that we had in the video game industry before the video game industry was like, we have to hire women whether they're qualified or not. It is confirmed that Jack and Daxter is dead, rest in peace. Yeah, well, I didn't have any hope for that for a long time. I actually didn't play much Jack and Daxter during the PS2 era, so I don't really have particularly strong feelings for it. Bro, I have to unpack my attic, and I'm pulling out the cardboard boxes, and I found a cardboard box that was just full of old-ass Game Informer magazines. Ugh. And I was just like flipping through it. Let's see if there's an internet photo of the one that was on the top of the box. Game Informer issue, what is this? 124. In the Internet Archive. Look at this. Ads. Remember video game ads, boys? Downhill domination. Look at that. More ads. NFL Blitz. Counter-Strike. Video game ads that are specifically about ass. Remember PN03, a game that was only about looking at ass by Capcom? Ugly ads. Freestyle Metal X. So in the same issue, you have a preview for Gran Turismo 4. I would say probably the best Gran Turismo. And how they're preparing for Gran Turismo. I was looking at the photos of the Gran Turismo 4 that they were having, and I was like, you know, we didn't have to have better graphics in this. And I was just looking through the reviews that they had in this one monthly issue of Game Informer, and I was like, preview for fucking Fable. Preview for Jak and Daxter 2. Preview for Final Fantasy 11. Final Fantasy 10-2, not a great game. I don't even remember this. True Fantasy Live Online. Resident Evil Outbreak. Now that's a fucking classic right there. Also not a great game, but still a well-remembered. True Crime. Pikmin 2. Star Ocean. Unreal Tournament. EverQuest. Fucking Warcraft 3. And the reviews, Virtua Fighter 4. I don't even remember Downhill Domination. I guess because it's a racing game. Fucking Silent Hill 3. Tomb Raider, Angel of Darkness, Indiana Jones, fucking Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic on Xbox, Ghost Recon, Day of Defeat. I kind of remember Day of Defeat. Neverwinter Nights, Elder Scrolls Morrowind. This is 1 month, guys. It's fucking 1 month. And it's still going on. And then they have like fucking cheat codes at the back of the magazine. You know, make Heather wear a bikini or some shit. It was a different time. It's a single fucking month in 2004 or something. It was 2003, I think. That's like the entire Game of the Year selection that you get in 2025. Except it would be only like half of those games. You get like 5 games like that. It's pretty crazy how far the industry has fallen, honestly. Why are men so susceptible to radicalization, as if we haven't witnessed an entire sector of human artistic expression deteriorate into sludge in a matter of 20 years? Yep. And they keep on telling us that it's not happening. Making games back then was also less complicated, like they would just figure out how to do shit on the fly and make it happen. They also had people who could, like, program things. That was a thing. It wasn't just like, I know how to use Unreal Engine. Oh no, this isn't an Unreal Engine. What will I do now? Theoretically, making video games is easier, so we should have more video games. But, yeah. I mean, we do have more video games if we're calling, like, asset flips video games, right? You can go into the Steam store now, and every day 5 video games are published if you just want your Unreal asset flips. But somehow, I feel like people, that's not what they're looking for. They also hired actual gamers, not people vaguely interested in games. I'm not even sure the people they're hiring right now are people who are vaguely interested in games. I think that might be even being a little too optimistic. Indies are booming, it's just that the AAA have died. Yeah, if you actually look at like the length of video games and the amount of content video games had back in 2003, it's not like games were long. Like Silent Hill 3, as much as we like to remember it fondly and how important it is, it basically, in terms of content, it has only the amount of content that you would be able to justify an indie. Like, in terms of, like, hours played and actual amount of shit, AAA still offers way more than it was ever offering back then. It's just that the soul has died, right? The people making it, there's a lot more stuff in the game, but it doesn't have the same amount of thought and importance put into it. So the answer is just play indie games. It's pretty simple. Like, there were barely any video games when I was growing up that I would play for more than, I don't know, 50 hours, 60 hours, 70 hours. But nowadays, there's a ton of games that I play that I regularly get over like 150 hours. Like, I have like 100 hours in Balatro and stuff like that. And that's just me like flipping around cards and shit. So the quality of games has actually gone up. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but like the overall know-how of how to make good gameplay, how to do like graphics and stuff, all of that has gone up. It's just that some of like the core artistic drive and I don't know, the emotional purity of the creation process has died. And again, you can just get that if you just play indies instead of playing AAA, that's all. Expedition 33 changed the paradigm of how games can be made. Did it though? I feel like it was just one of those things where people weren't doing it. People already knew that they could do it, but nobody was doing it. It took Ubisoft to be such an incredible flaming pile of shit to have their workers just be like, fuck this, I'm leaving. I'm just gonna make my own video game. The shitty thing about DEI that somehow didn't result in a flood of thick, busty mulatto babes, my favorite, but a reflexive sexlessness designed to fatigue the male gaze. You don't understand. Men finding women attractive is in itself offensive. The opposite is not true, but you should be ashamed that you find women to be sexy and you like looking at them. Shame on you. Shame. How do you feel about long nipples? I like them to be relatively short, honestly. Honestly, half the appeal of huge breasts is the woman complaining about them. For me, the appeal of huge breasts is having the one with huge breasts complaining about them, and then having a flat woman next to the woman with huge breasts complaining about her huge breasts and what a pain they are, and have the flat woman seething in anger. I'm gonna make Invisigal flatter just for this purpose. Flatter! Black Myth Wukong was unique though. I didn't play it, but did it have any like significantly different gameplay foundation than the average Soul game? Because it looked like a 7 out of 10 Souls clone. If I was going to play a Chinese Souls clone, I was way more interested in, what was it, Wu Chang something feathers, and not just because it had a hot chick that you could dress up in a bikini or whatever. I like the art design and the level design and stuff seemed much more like a From Software game. The only reason I didn't play it was because A, I don't buy games new at this point, but also I've played more than enough From Software games in my lifetime at this point, so Wu Chang is actually hard. I don't want to... The number one reason why I didn't buy or am not interested in Black Myth Wukong is I fucking hate how he makes the monkey noises every time you attack shit. The entire soundtrack of Wukong is just... these high-pitched fucking monkey screeching. And it's just like, god damn it, do they have to be so, like, you know, monkey dedicated to this shit? I don't want to listen to monkey noises the entire game. This fucking sucks. Have you watched any of the Neo 3 gameplay? Well, I played the demo that came out several months ago when they announced it. It was a pretty long demo, and it was like 4 hours long, so I don't feel like I need to watch anymore. It had enough gameplay in it that I felt confident that it will be a good game. So I'm not actually, you know, I'm only going to play it when it comes out at this point. I don't need to see. Also, when they release new footage, it's usually journalist gameplay. And I'm not like some super key pulse master myself, but watching the journalists like struggle playing it is just like LMAO. It's always funny because like every single person in the comments section has like 700 hours in the Neo series, and it's like, he's not key pulsing, he's not key fluxing, why isn't he killing all the enemies in 3 seconds, he doesn't know how to play the game, it's always funny. Even if the journalist is like halfway decent, there's like so many like mechanics you can do in Neo that makes like the combat pretty trivial. Cuphead.mp4, yeah. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty close. The only retards who didn't key pulse were the IGN footage. Yeah. It is IGN. Do we still have Polygon? Do they actually... It was always Polygon was the king of like not knowing how to play the video game, but I think they stopped doing that, right? And by stopped, I mean they stopped releasing real-time footage of their reviewers playing the game because it was too embarrassing. Polygon got bought out. Remember the Polygon review of Doom? Polygon Doom 2016 game journalist. This one, here we go. Absolute classic. It's so funny because you can tell they can't walk and aim at the same time. As soon as he gets control, watch it. It's so funny. They can only move like one stick at the same time, or I don't know whether they're on PC or not. You joking? Here, watch it. See? Move. Not moving the head though. See? They move. Oh, there we go. They move to the camera. See? They can only turn and then move forward. Turn, move forward. Look how much difficulty they have just moving. They can't control the character. And then they're not even really aiming. They sort of walk up into the character and then they shoot it. It's like the most journalist mode. Only the Cuphead tutorial is a more powerful example of journalist mode. They're sort of trying to strafe into the general area in front of the zombie. I feel like this was never bad with games. It reminds me of when I tried to get my parents to play video games with me as a child so they could share in my joy and my hobby, and then I realized and I was horrified that they couldn't understand the concept of like holding a controller and pressing buttons. You can do it, bro. Yep, there's the enemy. Oh, you missed. Oh, you missed again. Oh, you got it. Good job.
Demonic presence and unsafe levels. Lockdown.
That's what makes it endearing. It would be endearing if it was your parent trying to, you know, share in your hobby, share joy with you. It's not endearing when you're watching someone who's getting paid to do this and whose job literally is to, like, play hundreds and hundreds of games. This is getting actually sad. No, you can't open the door. That's right. This is a video game mechanic where you can't go outside until you murder everything. I know it's very complicated. Cute game reviewer writer doing their best. Honestly, all our complaints we have with game journalists, if we just saw the photo of the game journalist and it was a kawaii Japanese girl being like, this is so difficult, kya, we'd all just be like, oh, she's so cute. And the comments, of course, oh, the comments are turned off. Of course they are. Gaming journalists are failed writers or journalists that can't make it into the respective industry. Talk about, like, if you have any question that jobs don't disappear as quickly as the AI people think they're going to disappear, the fact that we've had gaming journalists and we still have some of these people still employed, even though the entire industry, every single person who is involved with games fucking hates them. Every customer hates them. They don't know how to do their job. They are completely replaceable by, I don't know, AI at this point. In fact, they don't even need AI. There's already a million people who actually like video games who are just putting their own reviews up on YouTube. So the fact that there's still some of these game reviewer sites like Polygon that still exist, even if they're like, you know, getting bought out and in the red and stuff like that. The fact that they even still exist to some degree shows you how hard it is for some kind of industry to actually disappear, even if it's completely, you know, non-profitable and it should disappear and everyone wants it to disappear. I feel it's more cynical than that. These people are just wages that have no interest in what they do. Well, some of them are wages with no interest in what they do, and some of them hate the industry and hate video games and hate the fan base. So they're not just wages, they're like activists and they get in fights with fans all the time and shit like that, so it's slightly different. If they were just like, if the game journalist response was just like, look, I fucking hate video games, it's my job, I played the game to my best, please fuck off, people wouldn't clown on them. It's because the whole industry is like, video games are sexist, we don't need male gamers anymore, also we're not a cabal and we don't favor our friends, that's just you imagining things. I think the world as a whole would just be a little bit better off if everybody was honest about everything, but unfortunately that's asking for too much. What happened between now and 2007 that made every single thing filled with those specific kind of activists? I don't know. It didn't happen suddenly, but it did happen over the course of like, I don't know, 5 years maybe? Gamergate was part of it, I guess, but the reason Gamergate happened was because the gaming industry, the journalist industry had already been doing that stuff for quite a while. That was a response to the fact that, like, the Gamergate happened after many years in which it was like they had all these newspaper magazine articles about, you know, strong new age Lara Croft or whatever, or shit like that, where the gamers were like, wait, what is going on with my gaming, you know, the people that used to say that games were awesome, what the fuck? Yes, Anita Sarkeesian basically discovered a mine in which she could generate infinite money glitches, and that was poking this primarily male hobby and using the clicks, the rage bait clicks, to, you know, extract money from different entities. But she found basically an insular hobby in which the more angry people got, the more, you know, publicity and money she could extract from it. And I think a lot of people saw that and they were like, oh, I too am a feminist. I will make my mark by complaining about video games. Because it's a hell of a lot easier to complain about video games than, like, I don't know, stop vaginal mutilation in Africa or whatever. Now everything is automated AI slop. I mean, you can say that again. It's not clear if anybody who's arguing on Twitter at this point is real human beings. If you find someone that's making you mad, there's a high chance that that person doesn't even exist. Her videos are so boring. The things that Anita Sarkeesian was saying in the video game, in her, like, what was it? I forgot what it's called, feminist frequency stuff. They aren't even, like, particularly controversial opinions. They're extremely milquetoast opinions. Like, Princess Peach is a object for the male gamer to get to and score, and it makes the male gamer feel good because he rescued a woman. And you're like, damn, she's really figured that one out. Like, it's not even controversial whether you, like, are for it or against it. I'm pretty sure she wasn't writing it herself as well, but... the fact that it got as much publicity as it did was A, because she was trying to get publicity, and B, because male Reddit gamers are fucking cringe and stupid. And they were giving her way too much free publicity. There was a lot of opinions on 4chan that if you would just ignore her, she would go away. I don't know if that's necessarily true. But it certainly would have lessened the blow quite a bit. This is a huge part of Japan, by the way, is Japanese people spend a lot of time ignoring each other, and they are not easy to get flummoxed as much as Americans. So rage baiting shit is not as easy in Japan. There's still, like, prominent rage baiters. A lot of them are YouTubers and stuff, but even with that, it's a lot more like you have to actually have a little bit more substance to whatever you're pushing. If you ask, like, an average Japanese person on the street what their opinion is about something, they're just like, I don't know. Whereas if you ask an average American if they have an opinion on something, they'll be like, yes, I'm glad you asked me. Let me state my opinion on this thing I know nothing about. This is a thing where, like, I forgot which late night host does it. It was one of the Jimmys, I think. If you ask people on the street, like, what do they think about Rosa Parks? And they're like, do you think Rosa Parks shouldn't have run for office this year or something? They're like, yes, that was a horrible choice of hers. They're like, yeah, she's dead. And they're like, oh. I got into AAA, like Assassin's Creed. I was never able to get into Assassin's Creed in the first place, even before it got into weird agenda stuff. The, what do you call it? The I'm in a video game aspect of it was too annoying for me. The, wait, are you having fun, gamer? It's time to remind you that you're inside a video game, that's right. This is a game inside a game, boys. It's not just a normal game. Oh, you're desyncing. Did you get to a really cool part of your historical adventure? Oh, too bad. Got to exit the your little computer simulation. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea? That shit is always awful every single time. race bait questions too. I wonder if there is. I'm sure there's clips of this shit. I think that stuff is so funny. That's the most American part of America. Is everybody has a fucking opinion. When they definitely shouldn't have an opinion.
According to a recent study from the Pew Research Center, almost 1 in 4 Americans has not read a book in the past year. That actually seems high to me. I bet it's even fewer than that. So to find out, this afternoon we sent a team out to the street to ask pedestrians to name a book. Any book. Could be the Bible, could be 50 Shades of Grey. All we wanted to know is, can you name a book?
Can you
And
name a
here's
book,
how that went.
Americans? Challenge, difficulty level impossible.
Oh yes. I don't read books, but what's it called?
Can you name a book?
No.
Can you name a book?
I don't read books.
I don't read books.
Yeah, that's it.
A book? The Lion King.
The movie?
Yeah, the book.
You read the book The Lion King?
Yeah.
Let me just think. Dang, hold on, man. I haven't even read it. Hold on, let me think.
Hold on.
Can we cut this and do it again?
Let me think of a book.
Can you name a book?
A book? Any book? The Jungle Book. It's not a book, is it? It's a movie. Jungle Book, sure.
Is it?
I wonder if it's just them being put on the spot. This is like one of the harder ones to tell if they're just embarrassed or they're having difficulty thinking of stuff. But so some of the other ones are like, so the one I saw where I was just like, what the fuck was the one about Rosa Parks? Do you have a black friend? This is a good
Probably know
one.
is Black History Month. President Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976.
Holy shit, look how young
Since
he
then,
is.
a lot
Holy
has
fuck.
changed when it comes to race relations in this country, mostly for the better. Not all, but most.
Of course.
What's his name?
His name is Alan.
There's no Alan. Come on. Is there an Alan? All right. That's Brian, and who do we have next?
Hi, I'm Tracy from Sydney, Australia.
Do you have a black friend?
Ooh, interesting. From Sydney, does Tracy have a black friend?
No,
She's being honest.
there aren't that many in Australia.
Would you like a black friend?
Yeah, of course.
I think maybe we made a love connection right there. All right, who is... I think we're going to call that a no. By the way, he's still standing up
Bland,
and trying to come
mainstream,
up with a
funny,
name.
yawn. I think find this
Next up.
hilarious because people
Nicolette
actually
Hampton.
answer this
Do you have
shit.
a black friend?
Do we think Nicolette? Everyone says Nicolette has a black friend. Well, let's find out.
I do have a black boyfriend.
All right, you're cool. We'll check out. Thank you.
She has a black boyfriend, boys. What books have I read? Are we counting stuff that I read on my phone? Because that's how I read my books now. Because I want to read them while working out. I don't read paper books. I mean, because I am actually unpacking shit from my closet, I'm constantly flipping through the books and trying to figure out whether I want to keep them or throw them away. If we're talking about things that I read from beginning to end, that's a different question. What have I finished recently? My father left a lot of Nabokov in the basement, so I've been working on that. But I haven't finished some of the other Nabokov. $6.25. All right. I think I read one Nabokov that was about him. It was about a loser incel chud who gets tricked by a hot young woman. Nabokov. Laughter in the Dark. Albinus is a respected, reasonably happy art critic who lives in Berlin. He lusts after the 17-year-old Margot, who he meets at a cinema, he's just like me, where she works and woos her over the course of many encounters, primarily with money. His prolonged affair with Margot is eventually revealed to be Albinus's wife Elizabeth when Margot deliberately sends a letter to the Albinus's residence and Albinus is unable to intercept it before it's discovered. Rather than disown the young troublemaker, Albinus is even more attracted to Margot. She eventually manipulates him into allowing her to move into his flat, where he resided with his wife, and she sets to working on him getting a divorce so that she might marry him and secure access to his significant wealth. Even when Albinus's daughter Irma takes ill and eventually dies of pneumonia, Margot insistently drives a wedge between his old life and his new in order to totalize her capture of him. And it fucking ends. What does it say? They don't actually say the specific of the ending, but it ends with the main character, I think he goes blind because of a car accident, and it ends with him being left blind, helpless in his own house that's now controlled by this younger woman, Margot, as she has an affair openly with her hot young lover, and there's nothing he can do about it as he hears them laughing and having sex in the darkness. Hence the title, Laughter in the Dark. It's one of the most depressing cuck-core NTR, all of the hentai tropes came early in 1932. It's very short, so I would recommend. It's very well written, of course, because it's Nabokov. It's a great book. Just don't self-insert as the main character, because that would be depressing. It's the most NTR book ever read? Yeah. So anyone who thinks that your Korean doujin author has maximized NTR points on the internet, actually Nabokov had already done it in 1932. Russian book is depressing, saying ain't so. Nabokov not exactly known for his cheerful, happy endings. I should rewrite Lolita. It's about me, a school teacher, marrying my stepdaughter after her mother dies, but instead of her mother dying, she's still alive, and I fuck both the mother and the stepdaughter, and all of us live happily ever after, and no one gets arrested because Lolita is like 12 years old or whatever. It's all fine. It would be Kino. I will call it Lolita Happy Ending Version. Something about the spiritual depression present in all Russian literature. This one doesn't break that trend. Let's ask Grok. Are there any famous Russian literature that involve happy endings? Yes, absolutely. While Russian literature is famous for its tragic, existential, and often bleak masterpieces, there are plenty of beloved classics. Alexander Pushkin, Eugene Onegin. Technically bittersweet. I love how the first of the fucking things that they list of happy endings is still technically bittersweet. They couldn't even find for their number one the first thing they list to be like actually happy. Tatiana ends up morally triumphant, self-possessed, and in control of her fate. Many readers see it as ultimately uplifting. That means it's actually not uplifting. Readers are like, no, it's okay, it's not depressing at all. And it's on a quietly hopeful. Notice how it's not hopeful, it's quietly hopeful. Famous graveyard scene emphasizing love and nature's renewal. I bet like half of the characters in Father and Sons died. The government inspector. Oh, that's definitely a... Oh, see, comedy. Pure comedic triumph. The only things they can list that aren't depressing are just like, I fucking hate the government. The clever, honest protagonist doesn't win socially, but he leaves corrupt society behind with his dignity intact. An optimistic ending. That's right, in context. That's right, guys. You didn't actually win. You left society, but we're gonna call that a win. Often interpreted as tragic. See? Literally every single one of the shit that they wrote is tragedies, but they're trying to be like, no. There's different interpretations of this. You know? Some people might say it's dark. You know? It's just like, there's literally no happy endings here. You ask AI to give you the happiest Russian stories, and they're like, some may say that while Nikolai Pushkinsky, in his story, it ends with him losing all of his limbs, getting cucked away from his wife, dying from alcoholism, and then being left in a ditch. But morally, he has kept his morals intact. And some may say that it's hilarious and uplifting. That's like their response right here. It's questionable whether Nabokov is a Russian author or not, though, because he was mostly writing his most famous stuff in English, and he was living in America. The thing I remember the most about Nabokov is one of his novels, I think it was called Pinin. He has a chapter in it in which the dentist recommends this guy who's just like a normal middle-aged guy with perfectly fine teeth to have all of his teeth pulled out and removed and replaced with dentures. And he just does this. This guy's like 40 years old. And it's not like portrayed as like some crazy shit because it was an actual normal procedure back then. Like the dentist would actually be like, yes, sir, your human teeth, they are weak compared to these fake teeth. Let's pull all of your fucking teeth out with pliers and give you fucking dentures even though you're 40 years old. And you'll be happier. And in this novel, the main character is like, yes, it was painful for a while, but now that all my teeth are gone, it's much better now. I'm like, this is fucking insane. Anybody who's like, technology hasn't progressed. I spent a lot of time on this chat talking about how technology is like going backward, but, you know, at least in the case of this shit, we haven't been like, yes, let's just pull out all our teeth. I'm spiritually homosexual, but ethnically straight. What's your favorite Miyazaki movie, guy? My favorite Miyazaki is the one where it's like set in a quasi-fictional fantasy European 19th century country, and there's like the wholesome Loli, and she goes on wholesome adventures, and there's also like strong female characters who are like, you gotta get your shit together, Loli-chan, and she's like, okay. And there's a strong emphasis on nature and beauty and stuff. And like a lot of American college students like it. I like that one. My favorite Miyazaki is the documentary about where he shit talks his son. Miyazaki can't help himself, you must understand. The one where he walked out of the film his kid made? Yeah, so Geto Senki was the one that we're talking about. I haven't actually seen it, but I heard it sucked. At least by Ghibli standards. It's Tales of Earthsea is the American title. Apparently the plot was just ass. Honestly, even if the plot is ass, if I get to watch Ghibli animation and these backgrounds and stuff, that alone is enough to satisfy me. Like, I don't fucking care how ass the story is. It looks pretty good. Although I do feel like it does look like a parody of Miyazaki. Like, this seems like straight out of Nausicaa right here. Like, isn't that what Howl's Moving Castle is ultimately? Howl's Moving Castle is shit in terms of story. Like, anybody who's like, no, Howl's Moving Castle has a great, meaningful story, you don't get it. It's like, no, it doesn't. If you like Howl's Moving Castle, you're just enjoying the Ghibli-ness of everything. But here's the thing though, people didn't like Geto Senki at all, but what is it? Poppy Hill is also this is also the Miyazaki's son. I'm sure, but I'm pretty sure. And people like Poppy Hill. It's like, yeah, see? Goro Miyazaki. I haven't seen either this or Geto Senki, but this had much better reviews. Although his hat is weird. That's a weird-ass hat. How is he wearing it? The actual Earthsea book is good, but the thing is everyone is black in the books. We can't allow that. No one would watch the movie. Not even black people want to watch a movie that's full of black people unless it's like Medea goes to Earthsea or something. Well, my mother went to see it and she said she liked it because she's old. And old people love anime where it's like, remember the thing that happened when we were old or when we were young? Medea goes to Earthsea would rock. Pretty much any kind of Medea goes to anything would probably rock. Medea in Middle Earth. Medea goes to the wall to fight the White Walkers. Howl's is just slop for women. Everything is slop for women as long as they have a mildly attractive male in it. Medea was just Black Ernest. I haven't actually seen any Medea movies. Oh, it's Medea, not Medea. M-A. Holy fuck. How many films do you think she has? I'll give you a guess. It's way more than you think. Diary of a Mad Black Woman, family reunion, meet the Browns, goes to jail, I can do bad all by myself, big happy family, witness protection, Christmas, Halloween, family funeral, homecoming, destination wedding, college road trip. Tyler Perry is a billionaire off of this. Good for him. Make your money. He found a market and he cornered it, and the market was black people. And nobody else in Hollywood was like, how do we get black people to enjoy things and spend money? And Tyler Perry was like, maybe we should make stories that black people like. I don't know. And he made a shit ton of money. Good for him. Also, the budget of a Medea movie is like $12. And they all make like $100 million or some shit. I feel like my entire youth was spent looking at box office returns of Medea movies, and it's like they were coming in first in the box office during release every single time. I thought it was catered to white people since it relies a lot on black stereotypes. I'll give you a secret. Black people don't mind watching movies about black stereotypes. I know this even though I've only seen like 4 or 5 quote-unquote black movies. They're always full of black stereotypes. I've seen Barbershop, Friday, the Friday sequel. Are we counting Half-Baked as a black movie? I think we would count Half-Baked as a black movie. I saw about 20 minutes of the movie where Redman goes to college or something. What else? I've seen Scarface, that's a black movie. Black people like black stereotypes if they're used funnily. Not a movie, but Boondocks is so peak. I think that's like the primary black culture knowledge that most people from like my generation or one generation below is just the Boondocks. Everybody loved the Boondocks. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the stream here, boys. See you around. I will keep on grinding. Have a nice night, guys.